Okay, quick magic trick lesson, okay? You shuffle your cards, you do all that. You tell the audience, hey, pick a card, pick a card. All right, you guys choose this one, right? Can't see it. That's cool. You tell them to place it in the deck. You look at the card right above it, and you have them put the card right there. Boom. You look at the card. You see the red reverse. Flip through it until you find the red reverse, and you have the wild card. It's an easy bar trick. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Uriah Heep with their song The Magician's Birthday off of their album of the same name, which was released in 1972. I have heard the name Uriah Heep. I do not believe that I've ever heard a song from them, but this was one that you guys had recommended quite a bit. It was kind of a toss-up between a few, but this one was kind of predominantly kind of up there. If you're a magician and it's your birthday, who are you going to hire? Hi, my name's Bill. I'm an accountant, and today I'm going to teach you kids how to do your taxes. Anyways, you guys can join me on Twitter. You guys can join me in the comments down below. Let's just jump right into it. This is The Magician's Birthday by Uriah Heep.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing, while the midnight moon shone brightly overhead. The stars so gaily glistened, and the Sphinx in silence listened to the magician tell of lives that he had led. Let the bells of freedom ring, songs of love to Friday's king. Let's all go to the magician's birthday. It's in the forest, but not so far away. Much to do and so much to say, while we listen to the orchestra play. Dancing firelight, the air grew cold, seemed to dull the flame. The fire died, the music faded, filled with fear of death we waited, for now we knew some evil was to blame.
let's talk about the musicians. Let's talk about the magician's birthday. Let's talk about this song a little bit. Okay, so this is the first song that I've heard from Uriah Heep. Okay, now just going into the song, I had a feeling it was going to be somewhat hard rock related, somewhat progressive. That's pretty much all I expected out of it. Now, definitely met those expectations. I definitely got what I bargained for. One thing I really liked was the hard rock kind of background. Sorry, I feel like there's like a fly or a fuzz or something around here. The guitar was adequately distorted. The whole sound was nice and distinct in its heaviness. I like the density of everything. I really like the singer's voice for two reasons, really. David Byron. One reason I like his voice, it has a very nice presence in the music itself. It's very strong. He's not necessarily singing like outwardly or too, overpowered or anything like that, but I'm assuming that he definitely could sing a little bit more forcefully if he wanted to. This song doesn't necessarily call for it, except in a few moments here and there. But the second reason that I really enjoyed his vocals in particular are the way that he plays different characters, the way that he plays out different personalities. Reading through the lyrics and kind of following it along, especially in that second half, where I was kind of connecting the dots a little bit. It sounds like everyone's having a grand old time, everyone's having a really cool party, and then something evil creeps along, and basically there's like a magic off. Basically it sounds like some sort of battle or some sort of contest between the magician, whose birthday it is, and whatever this evil may be. Now, I really like how in the second verses in particular, he enacts and he acts out as whatever that force of evil is, but then also playing as the onlookers in the crowd, also playing as the narrator to the story as a whole, and then of course as our protagonist, the magician himself. And I really like how the vocals are distinctly different in each of those. Not so much that it really sounds on like he's putting on a play, but just enough that you know that there is a conversation, a back and forth dialogue going on in the story, definitely in the music, and especially vocally. So in the intro, I already know, all right, I'm gonna get some sort of nice hard rock song. I thought that immediately. And by the way, does anyone else think that this could be like Rush? And speaking of Rush, we gotta talk about one of my favorite things in the song itself. Gary Thane, who is on the bass. Okay? Listen to the bass work in this song. The bass is this constant propeller of just groove throughout. I really like the bass work in between those nice and chunky and distorted riffs throughout. That was actually one of my favorite things in this song, was just the way that the bass moved throughout the whole thing. Which also actually leads me to my one and only criticism of the song. Let's talk about the break, all right? The break was interesting. It was really interesting in its transitions between the two, which I want to talk about just a tiny bit more after. But in the break itself, between the battle and the intensity brought up between the drums and the guitar, which was cool to hear, it was lacking something. And what was it lacking? Lacking Mr. Thane. I think there's a few select moments in the break itself in which there's bass, but primarily it's between guitars, drums, and then occasionally some keys and some synths kind of come in. They're just kind of sprinkled in throughout. I think that's really cool, the way that they did that as well. But it was missing something on the back end, which is what bass is for. Now, I'm not criticizing it for not using bass. I'm criticizing it for not using bass throughout pretty much the whole break as far as I could tell. Even though I really like the sound of the guitar throughout, especially in that section, and I really like the solo, I just wanted something extra out of it. I wanted a little more bass. And then Lee Kerslake is on the drums, and once again, we got some nice beats in there. We had some heavy rhythms going on, but I also felt like the middle section, it kind of went on a little bit too long. I actually got bored listening to it at a certain point because there wasn't really, for me, anything necessarily overly interesting going on. After a while, it was kind of doing the same things over and over. And I did like those little sprinklings of the keys and that deep, it sounded like an organ would kind of come in, and it would kind of bring this interesting and uneasy atmosphere into the song, which is perfect for where the lyrics are at that moment. But then it would kind of fade away and we go back to the guitar and drums. Which, like I said, it sounds good for a while, but after a little bit, I kind of wanted it to finish up. It just felt like it went on a little bit too long for me. I think that this fade out though, and this transition is really interesting. He's talking about the evil now arriving, this uneasy feeling in the air. And I like how all of that comfort and party vibe dissipates, and we get something a little bit more sinister. The transitions in and out of the middle bridge, I think are really cool. And I actually really like how they're done. They're in stark contrast to what precedes and what comes after, but at the same time, especially story-wise, they just make sense and they just fit. I like that. I like the way that this sets up the challenge and the battle that's about to commence. And I like the way guitar fades out, drums begin this insane beat, so this really nice groove. And from there, we already know. And from there, it's drums and guitar pretty much the whole way through, besides those little splashes and flourishes from the keys. So, like I said, that part's cool, just goes on a little bit too long, feels empty. I need bass, okay? I need bass. Listen to how much backfill the bass has. And I really like the organ in this part too. And we also get some nice harmonies as well. And that's what I mean. David Byron, who's taking care of the vocals here, he takes care of the vocals. And I love his higher end harmonies here as the song fades out. I like that. We still get some nice bass in there. That sounds really good. I like that. This is a good song. It's not like my favorite song, but it's definitely enough to get me curious and pretty much kind of win me over into listening to a little bit more of them. I didn't love all 10 minutes of it, but I enjoyed pretty much like what, 75, 80% of it? The lyrics. In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing, while the midnight moon shone brightly overhead. The stars so gaily glistened, and the Sphinx in silence listened to the magician tell of lives he had led. So perhaps it's the magician actually telling a story of like a past encounter or a past battle. Actually, I don't think that's it, because then they talk about while they're doing that, you know, the fire died, the music faded, filled with fear of death. We waited, for now we knew some evil was to blame. And that's when the music changes and transitions and shifts, like I said, initially into something more sinister, then into something very dark but up-tempo and high energy. But listen to the back and forth conversation, right?
I challenge you.
First as the evil. So now we get this dark persona out of David, in which he's saying, I challenge you all, for all you own and for all you know. And by the powers of darkness I will steal what is mine. Surrender now, or face my spite. I grant you it may be Friday night, but did you know this day also numbers 13? Ooh. What if I lined up this song to be on Friday the 13th? When's the next one? Probably nowhere near. But then listen to the back and forth now. Still the evil persona first. Back. That is so cool. I love the sound effects going on in the back. That is really cool. Like I said, the back and forth in the voices by one person, David, handling both of those, I think is really cool. In the second line, you can hear from the dark, and he's like, well, I'll try this. So there's still little inserts of personality in there. Not overtly done, but just like so tastefully done. That's really cool. This was a good song. I enjoyed it. Lyrics I think is really fun, actually. It sounds like just a really cool contest between the light and the dark. And in the end, as they say, love is the answer. Love will find love, will find love. Anyways, thank you guys so much for the recommendation. I definitely appreciate it. Of course, I'd love it if you join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the song, as well as let me know what other songs from Uriah Heep I should listen to. And that's kind of it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.